get up here. So in that time, you're like thinking about all the things that you would have done or said differently when you're doing something. Yeah. So whether it's a Thursday night service and then 6 months go by, you're like, oh, okay, remember what I did last time. I need to do this. I got to remember this. And we're going to bring this up for the taller people. So this is not normal that we tag team. When Donna came to me last week, she goes, oh, I've got 2 pages left. I was like, oh, I thought you were done. Because originally she had said she had 3 weeks back. So I was like, okay, so if she goes 25 minutes, I'm not going to get up for 5 minutes. I said, well, we'll talk amongst ourselves or something. So I'm looking at my watch. I was like, well, she sounds like she's done already. So I'm gonna kind of give a little bit of a overlap and an overlay of the direction that I am going in. Brother Bud came to me last week and said, hey, you ready? I said, I'm always ready. I am. I feel like that when the scripture says that being ready in season, I feel like I'm there. I feel like given the opportunity, you give me 5 minutes to collect my thoughts and I can go in any direction. And I've got, I use a note in my phone for quotes. Always writing down little witty little quotes of some sort, writing something down, and then those quotes, I'll kind of chase them out, and they kind of, they can evolve into a message of some sort. But with 75 quotes inside of your back pocket, which direction you're going to go in? You gotta pick one, right? I'm not a Russian roulette kind of a guy, so I will look through my list and I'll decide which way I'm going to go. So Brother Bud came to me last week. He goes, so which way are you going? I was like, well, I said, I don't want to be tested on what I'm going to say. You can laugh now. That was funny. Because God knows every time you get to say something, you're first partaker and you will be tested. I said, so we're not talking about nothing but prosperity. How's that sound? All right, let's be partakers of prosperity. After 2020, that sounds really good to me. That sounds really, really good to me. I'm going to talk about my greatest struggle, and I'm sure this does not apply to you guys, because my biggest problem is not anything else but me. I am my worst enemy. I really am. And it's frustrating to the point that you can get, why do we act like this? Why do we do this? What can we do to change this? And why am I allowing this? And why am I thinking this? And why am I doing this? And that's where the condemnation comes in. And that's where we start to say, man, I blew it today. I should not have done that. I should not have said this. I should not have, whatever it is. But I'm sure that's only me, because nobody else has that same problem with the way that they think or the way that they do things. A lot of where I'm going to go, I lost my book. I couldn't find my book for the longest time. I was telling Stephen too. He goes, where are you going? Is it a book from the list on the door? I was like, oh, there's a list on the door? Oops. I said, oops. I called Brother Bud. I text Danny and say, hey, I need Brother Bud's phone number. Because I wanted to make sure that was, I didn't want to go off the beaten path too far. And, and the list on the door was more of suggestive readings. And I was in a completely different direction, but this is where I feel is necessary for me. And I feel like it's very necessary for individuals in themselves, and I feel like it's really necessary for the church. As individuals, we make up the corporate. We know that. We know a weak link. We know a strong link. We know we're only as good as our weakest link. We know all the philosophy behind that. We know all the thoughts behind that. But what I really wanted to go in the direction of is the battlefield of the mind. Joyce Myers. I will not be reading page by page by page by page by page. I'm going to, because a lot of what she talks about is very demonic. Not what she's saying is demonic, but she comes from the devil's doing this, and the devil influenced me to do this, and the devil influenced me. I know I shouldn't have had the extra ice cream. The devil didn't get up on my shoulder not to have that. I want to make this very, very practical and not give the devil any credit. We've been taught very well. We know the devil has its place. We know Christ has his place. And I don't know about you, but I am risen with Christ. Therefore, I know this exists, but I don't want the focus of what I'm going to say is the devil did this and the devil did that and the enemy this. And I do believe there is an assignment against the people that are called of God. I do, and I will acknowledge it in that sense that there is something out there that will try to trip you up on purpose, very, very subtly, get you off course in any way, shape, or form. And I'm aware of that, but I don't want to focus on devil, enemy. We're going to talk about it, but this is my this is my weakest link. This is my weakest link. And Pastor Dale used to always say this all the time is, you're stinking thinking. It is so true. As a machinist, no matter what your job is, you cannot focus 100% of your time on God. Now, if you can, that's great. And if you're going to stay in your closet, in your prayer closet, that's wonderful, that's great. I don't have the luxury of doing that. So I still have to work a job, and I still have to stand in front of it, and I still have to be present in a place that God has put me, and still keep a mind on what I'm doing so I don't get cut, so I don't scrap a tool, so I don't make any mistakes, but still keep your mind on things below. All right, things above. Thank you for correcting me. Everybody see that commercial? It was back years ago. That cast iron frying pan sitting on the stove, and it's got butter inside of it. The second you crack an egg and you put the egg inside of it, this is your brain on drugs. The mind is a terrible thing to waste. It really is. What you fill it up with is up to you. I can't blame my wife for what I'm thinking. What we think has a lot to do, and I'm going to be very careful with what I say here, with how we act. I am a firm believer in actions speak louder than words. You can tell me till you're blue in the face that whatever, you're sorry for what you did, you didn't mean this, and actions behind it make all the difference in the world. When you are very remorseful for what you did, it will show in your actions, it'll show in your countenance, it'll show in some way, shape, or form, outwardly, because I could tell my wife that till I'm blue in the face that I love her, but if I never hold her hand and never kiss her, is there any connection between the two? There has to be a connection between the two. You must, in your mind, have the right thoughts, but your body and your actions in your life will go in the same direction. Cannot stand negativity. It is one of the most biggest pet peeves that I have. I